So we're going on from the conversation of kind of like acknowledging that healing is beyond identity, right? And so the reply here is I see what you're saying, but until men take responsibility for their centuries of actions, it's not going to solve the issue as a whole because their violence is perpetuating most of the problem. And then she goes on to say, it's not that I don't understand what you're saying, right? But see, I want to acknowledge that in her comment previous to this, she called me ignorant, you know what I mean? Because you were reactive to your own pain, right? And so you were projecting. So are you going to apologize? I don't need it. But you were reacting and you didn't listen because you were already so ready to attack, and you don't even know that I've lived 17 years as a woman. You know, I lived 17 years of my life. So talk about barking up the wrong tree. But what I can tell you is that blame does not help, right? Like, how does someone be accountable for something that they don't understand, that they don't even know, right? And I think that that requires some deep soul work, some deep going inside to really understand that somebody cannot know what they do not know. And somebody cannot be accountable for something that they cannot be accountable for within themselves, right? So no matter what you do, you could punish somebody, you could do whatever you want, but that's still not going to make them see why what they did was wrong. That is their own soul's choice to realize what they did. So accountability really is an illusion. And what we do is we enslave ourselves to the moment when somebody can be accountable instead of saying, I walk away and I no longer give power to something that is actually very weak and powerless. Because anything that has to act out of violence to maintain some sort of order or control is actually very weak. So what I'm coming from is from an empowered space, right? What does it look like when we live into the solution and we stop giving something that is actually so powerless our power? That is what I'm talking about here. Are you going to apologize? Let me know.